Bonjour everyone and welcome back to Farmers Corners FC, the French football podcast with the accents. Anybody who's watching on YouTube or Facebook, I'll let you enjoy this view of the Brisbane skyline in Australia and the Suncorp Stadium just in front of it. Beautiful view of the stadium here in Brisbane. We have some good football stadiums as well in Australia. Thanks for dialing in, of course. Hi everyone. This is episode 5 of our second season, and today we're going to look into match 4 in Ligue 1, the last game before the first international break. And of course, it's the weekend that saw Messi playing its very first minutes with the Paris Saint-Germain jersey. Very exciting for Ligue 1 and for the Paris Saint-Germain supporters, especially. It's now it's the time after 4 games to actually gauge what's going on with every single team, and we start to see, I guess, what's going to happen this season. The round of observation is sort of over. All the teams that were struggling are finally getting their wins. The one that we expected to have a much better start. We had 10 games. We had 10 full games this time. No more drama like last week. 31 goals were scored. Another pretty prolific weekend. 3 red cards, because that's what we do. And we now have 4 undefeated teams left. Paris Saint-Germain, of course, Angers and Clermont, which is more of a surprise. Lens, technically on the pitch, Nice is also undefeated. But with all this event last week between Nice and Marseille, I'll just let those two on the side, and we'll talk about it another time. We'll see what's going on 10 days from now when they all go in front of the disciplinary commission to decide the outcome of that game and the pretty bad events that happened last week. 6 teams are still looking for their first win. That's 4 less than last week, since we finally saw Lyon, Monaco, and Lille getting a win, not without struggle, mind you. And Strasbourg also got their first win. Let's not waste any more time. We'll get right into it. We'll not have any real focus this week. We'll just go game by game, and then we'll quickly have a look at the transfers in Ligue 1. It's finishing. I'm recording this podcast right now at 1 p.m. Australian time. The transfers are over in about 21 hours. The transfer window in Australia is going to be over at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'll have time to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Sorry, I'll have time to wake up and see what happened overnight. Anyway, let's go to Nantes for the first game of the weekend. Nantes versus Lyon. The first win for Peter Bosz. 1-0 for Lyon. I guess what matters is the 3 points, right? The goal scorer was Dembélé at the 35th minute. Lyon with 12 shots, 5 on target, 65% possession. Nantes, in the meantime, had 18 shots and 5 on target as well. There was a red card during that game for Da Silva, the Lyon defender, freshly arrived from Rennes on a free transfer. He got a red card at the 78th minute. Finally, the 3 points from Lyon, like we said, is going to ease a bit of the pressure on Peter Bosz during that international transfer window. It's going to give him a bit of time to sort out his team now that they've recruited a star. I guess there's no other way to say it. Xherdan Shaqiri has just joined from Liverpool. He's obviously going to be away for the international break because he's playing with Switzerland. Switzerland, who's now coached by Yakin after Petkovic has gone to Bordeaux, and Shaqiri will be still the vice captain of the Nati, the Switzerland national team. So he's not going to be here for the couple of weeks, but I'm sure Bosz is trying to already think about how he's going to play his small but strong new forward/winger in his system. We had seen a better Lyon against Clermont last week, of course, led by Lucas Paqueta with that beautiful third goal. And the Brazilian midfielder, again, was highly involved in that game in Nantes. He was basically in every opportunity. He's definitely the light that shines for Lyon at the moment, and we expect it to be probably the same all season, to be honest. After the game itself, after a first half hour when Anthony Lopez and Alban Lafont were sort of showing off to each other, saying who's the best goalkeeper in Ligue 1, and both of them are probably up there with the better goalkeepers that we have in France. The first goal came from Lyon just after the half hour. Lyon, the first team able to break that lock and the deadlock, and it came from Paqueta, whose shot was saved by Lafont, but Dembélé was the fastest to bounce on that rebound and to score his third goal in 2 games. It's a good start of the season for Moussa Dembélé. We know he struggled last year. He was loaned halfway through the season to Atletico Madrid because he was not performing well enough for Lyon. It seems like he's back. He doesn't have any competition, of course, up front. It's either him or Chino Kadewere or Slimani. There's no more Memphis Depay. So Lyon really counts on Moussa Dembélé, and so far so good. 3 goals in 4 games is an okay start for the French under-21 international. Besides that, the second half started a little bit better for Nantes. I think Lyon, after they scored in the first half, sort of decided to drop a little bit, to wait for Nantes to come back and to try and play in transition, which doesn't work really well for Lyon this season. I don't know if it's a choice, or I don't know if that the players don't have the confidence yet to follow Peter Boss's tactic plan or game plan all game, but they sort of did the same mistake that they've been doing in the first 3 games. It could have been costly if it wasn't for Lopez. A bit of lack of intent, a bit of lack of aggressivity. If it wasn't for Lopez and for their I guess the clumsiness of the Nantes forwards, I think the game could have gone another way. I think les Canaries, the Nantes players, probably thought they deserved the point for the game. Comboiré, the coach, is a bit of in a difficult position. Nantes is a shit show, to put it that way. There's a big issue between the president and the fan. The former players don't think the club is run the right way either. There's a little bit of ongoing issue for Huawei the past 7 years, as we said in the past, for Nantes. But Comboiré seemed to have that, I guess, that old-fashioned coaching style that, enable his team to sort of muscle up in the big game. Unfortunately, we don't really see enough talent yet in that Nantes team. There's some good players, but I don't know if there's the talent to be able to, stay in Ligue another season. So we'll see what they do. When you see that one of their best players right now is Nicolas Palois, the centre back, it's a bit scary for Nantes. I'm surprised that Alban Lafont hasn't moved away, especially when they recruited a pretty good second goalkeeper, Rémi Descamps, who came from Belgium. I think it's Sporting Charleroi, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we'll see what Nantes does. Boukari, the new recruit, had a couple of opportunities to score and he didn't. I don't know that they will make it. Basically, I'm still worried for them for the rest of the season. Anyway, after the international break, both teams will be hosting their game. Lyon will be hosting Strasbourg, and Nantes will be playing against the only team that has not conceded a goal yet, Nice, who's coached by Christophe Galtier. And Nice, that's the next team that we're going to talk about. Nice with their 4-0 emphatic win against Bordeaux. Galtier is in it to win it, and he's showing it week in, week out at Nice. The goal scorer, Justin Kluivert, at the 7th minute, a brace for Amin Gouiri at the 33rd and the 42nd on penalty, and Kefren Thuram scored at the 85th minute. 11 shots for Nice, 5 on target, 13 shots for Bordeaux, 4 on target, 57% ball possession for Bordeaux, which is basically a reflect of that second half. And Nice against Bordeaux, is a game that we were expecting to see. They beat Lille 4-0 away a couple of weeks ago. They show a good account of themselves until the events that ruined it all against Marseille last week, and now they were hosting Bordeaux in an empty Allianz Riviera because of last week, of course. Christophe Galtier, celebrated his new signing, Angers Delors, the best way possible by showing him that even if he's not here yet, they can score goals. And so Angers Delors will add something nice to that mix. The game itself, they didn't wait for too long to show the talent that they have up front. Justin Kluivert, after a couple of minutes, had a pretty good opportunity, a header that was saved by Costil, but a few minutes later, there's nothing the French keeper could do against the Dutch volley. Nice run by Boudaoui onto the right wing, across, and then the volley by Kluivert, the son, of course, of Patrick Kluivert, the former Barcelona player, brought the first goal for Nice. Bordeaux had a good 10 minutes where they felt like they could get back into the game and where Nice maybe dropped a little bit. I mean, we know that Galtier loves to play, once he's scored, loves to play a little bit low and take advantage of space behind the defense in transition. But I feel like it was a bit early to do that. Anyway, Bordeaux felt like maybe they could make it happen. Unfortunately, as soon as that 10-minute period was over, Nice sort of took the matter into their own hands anymore. Another counter-attack like Galtier loves them. Kluivert led it. Great run behind the defense. Very selfless pass to Gouiri. Could have took his chance, but he decided to see Gouiri on his left, square the ball, and then Gouiri scored the second one. It was unfortunately probably the last run for Justin Kluivert, who got injured maybe on this one, maybe just after, and got replaced by Calvin Stengs. Calvin Stengs, the other Dutch recruit for Nice, who is apparently, a little piece of trivia, related to Justin Kluivert. It's a story of a stepbrother or a cousin or a brother-in-law. Anyway, apparently the two Dutch forwards are related to each other and are now playing in the same team. And the word is they've talked to each other before they each joined the south of France team. Anyway, back to the game. Gouiri recorded a brace before the break, as we said, on penalty. A penalty that he earned himself, trying to get past Koscielny, and Koscielny's tackle was judged irregular by the referee. Penalty for Gouiri. We know how good Gouiri is from the spot kick. Picked the top left corner. No chance for Costil. And at halftime, Nice was up 3-0. Now, Petkovic tried something, the same thing that he did against Marseille, basically. Got Pembele in at halftime to try and get back in. Not the same luck. I mean, we've seen Bordeaux getting a bit more of the ball and Nice forced to defend low. But Pembele... Sorry for the break. But Pembele didn't have the same influence that he had against Marseille, basically, where he scored after a couple of minutes. The rest of the second half was, like I said, Nice defending, Bordeaux trying to attack and trying to find a place. But Nice is just strong defensively. There's a reason why they haven't conceded a goal yet. And, when you have Lemina and Rosario, I couldn't remember his name for a second, Rosario into the midfield, they're really strong defensive midfielder. I think Galtier found the pair that is going to really solidify it all. And now up front, you're going to have Delors coming in to help Dolberg, to help Gouiri. It's a scary team. It's a team that, I think Galtier is in it, at least for the Champions League, with a squad like this, with his ability to motivate people. After 4 games, I'm having a hard time seeing where Nice's flaws are going to be. We obviously, we'll see when they play against Paris Saint-Germain, when they play against Monaco, what the outcome is in the big games. But, they're not playing any European game this season. They have a coach that now knows what it takes to win. It's going to be an interesting study. It's going to be pretty exciting for Nice. But sorry, we didn't finish the game. The fourth goal was scored by Kefren Thuram, the son of Lille Thuram, of course, after a perfect ball through by Dan Endoy, the young midfielder, and Thuram, 1v1 versus Costil, very, very calm, cold-blooded, finished that one past the French international keeper. Nice now are won twice by 4 goals this season, something that they only had done twice in the past 5 years. Again, the Galtier effect and the efficiency that Nice is getting with a coach of that charisma and of that a coach that good, I'd say. They are also still to concede a goal. again, more proof that Galtier was probably the reason why Lille was champion last year, right? On the other side, Bordeaux, we'd seen something a bit better against Marseille. Apparently, it was just a bit of a flash in the pan. It's their worst start of the season since 2000. No win after 4 games. It's not an easy start for Petkovic. A lot of recruits, Brazilian and Portuguese, have come in the past 10 days. So maybe this international break will do Bordeaux a world of good to try and find automatism between the team. In 10 days, Bordeaux will be hosting Lens, and Nice, as we said, will be traveling to Nantes. Marseille against Saint-Etienne, 3-1 win for les Phocéens. The Stade Vélodrome was on fire. We've seen it a little bit against Bordeaux. Marseille and Saint-Etienne, of course, are arch rival. Up until Paris Saint-Germain became Paris Saint-Germain with Qatar. They were the 2 clubs that had won the most Ligue 1. I think there still are the 2 clubs who have won the most Ligue 1, 10 for Saint-Etienne and 9 for Marseille, if I'm not mistaken, all of a sudden. It is, a historic rivalry, and the Marseille fans decided to show what it means to have 60,000 people back into the stadium. If you see on my Twitter on Farmers Corners FC, I've shared a couple of videos. My brother happened to have been in the stadium for the game. Took a little picture with Arkadiusz Milik at the end, which made me a bit jealous. But also recorded a video of the beginning of the game and the atmosphere, which could be scary to the non-initiated, but definitely a loud stadium at the Stade Vélodrome. Saint-Etienne winless still in the first 4 games after that loss that came at the hands of Guendouzi, who scored the first goal at the 23rd minute. Gerson scored at the 51st minute, and Cengiz Ünder scored at the 68th minute for Marseille. Kolo Jechak had leveled in the first half at the 32nd minute. 19 shots, 5 on target for Marseille, 65% possession. Still 11 shots and 7 on target for Saint-Etienne, so not an easy win for Marseille by any stretch of the imagination. It started early on that game. It could have gone either way, to be honest, because Saint-Etienne had opportunities, and Saint-Etienne had the first opportunity, a ball stolen into the feet of Luan Perez, maybe a foul, maybe not. So Bouanga going into the box and facing Mandanda 1v1 at the 3rd minute. The shot from Bouanga was the first of several attempts by the striker who was straight at the goalkeeper. You think that if Bouanga is able to find the target right next to the keeper, he's going to score a few goals this season. Luckily for Marseille, that wasn't the case this weekend. So the first shot stopped by Mandanda, who was solid on his line again this weekend. Besides that, the home team, when you're trained coached by Sampaoli, you're going to get a few opportunities offensively, and they answered straight away. Rongier very close to score a goal, but couldn't quite connect with the ball. And then halfway through the first half, a beautiful, an amazing, a genius pass from Dimitri Payet, exterior of the right foot, through for Cengiz Ünder behind the defense. Ünder crossed the ball, squared it rather. De La Fuente unable to score, but had time to turn around and just pass the ball to Guendouzi, who picked the left corner that Etienne Green couldn't do anything about, and that was 1-0. Saint-Etienne answered very quickly, a set piece just after, and Kolo Jechak able to get that corner kick that was taken by Aoshish to jump higher than anybody else and score that header. And then besides that, Saint-Etienne still trying to push and operating in transition to find that space behind the Marseille lines and in between the Marseille lines as well. Unfortunately, besides a couple of runs by Bouanga and the activity of Wabi Kazri, who never stopped, who never stopped, there wasn't a lot that we've seen from Saint-Etienne. After the halftime, Marseille came back with basically the same intent and the intention of scoring as fast as possible. And it happens 5 minutes into the second half with 6 minutes, with a cheeky little lobbed ball by Cengiz Ünder for Payet. Payet, who sort of was pushed in the area, and maybe it stopped the Saint-Etienne defense a little bit. The ball got to Rongier. Rongier passed it to Gerson. Gerson by himself in the middle of the box, a control, a shot under the crossbar, and 2-1 for Marseille. A few other opportunities for Saint-Etienne in the meantime. But again, Bouanga unable to score his shots at Mandanda, his header at Mandanda. I guess Marseille got a bit lucky that that Saint-Etienne doesn't have a real finisher up front, a real lethal striker. The third goal was Cengiz Under, I guess, bodying Florian Thauvin. He replaces Florian Thauvin basically in the Marseille team, and he scored a very Thauvin goal at the edge of the box, cutting into his left foot and swerving the ball to pick the bottom left corner. 3-1 for Marseille, third goal for Cengiz Under in 4 games. Enough to be safe for OM, but of course, I guess as we're going to see every single week, same. Offensively, they are dangerous. Defensively, they are also dangerous. It's great to see Luan Perez's ability to run through the lines. Did that a couple of times against Saint-Etienne. It's great to see Saliba's solidity defensively. I don't think he's lost a duel against Saint-Etienne. He's very safe. He's very calm. The third defender will be the issue. Alvaro is not quite good enough. Balerdi is a little bit crazy. They might keep Chareta Char after all these stories. So we'll see what happens. Up front, they still haven't played with Arkadiusz Milik, who is the best player in the Marseille roster. He's set to start. A little bit of an insider information from my brother, Milik. He's set to start training collectively mid-September and to start actually playing at the end of the month of September. So we'll see what Arkadiusz Milik brings to that team. But of course, he's just going to bring a lot of talents, and he's going to bring a bit more balance in the team. He's going to help Gerson and Payet playing a little bit lower on the field. And as if a reminder was needed, the Europa League is coming from Marseille. Complicated group for Marseille, Lazio, Galatasaray, and I can't remember the last one, but you'll get back to me. Lokomotiv Moscow, which is going to be hard, and they'll need all their strengths to get there. They've just recruited Amin Harit, the former Nantes player from Schalke, who's probably going to be Payet's number 2. So we'll see what Marseille can do once they're going to have to play every 3 days. Saint-Etienne, it seems to be a bit hit and miss so far. Les Verts, Claude Puel, I thought sort of had found a way to make them work. Aouchiche playing in that false line position, like a mate of mine mentioned on Twitter, might not be the best ideas. He's a great number 10. On the wing, Bouanga is okay. Neyu was playing on the wing for some reason. I like a midfield where Neyu is next to Aouchiche. We'll see where that goes. There is talent in Saint-Etienne, I think. There's just not a game plan that I find attractive yet. It's a long season. I don't think it'll be as hard as last year for Les Verts. But I expect a little bit more from the talent that we see in that squad. I was pretty disappointed by Amouma when he came in and basically didn't run, although he only came in with fresh legs for 15 minutes. Anyway, next game for both. Saint-Etienne will go to Montpellier after the international break, and OM is in for a big one. A week after playing against Nice, they're going to go back to the French Riviera. They're going to play Monaco at Louis II after that break. Big game. Monaco against Marseille, another arch rivalry. Monaco is the next team we talk about, and finally a win for Niko Kovac this season. I made Monaco my favorite behind Paris, and they have been disappointing so far, and now they finally get the win in Champaign on Troyes, Field Troyes, who is yet to get a win. The goal scorer, Diop, scored twice at the 40th and the 58th minute, and Aguilar scored an own goal, the Monaco defender, for Troyes. 7 shots only for Monaco, 4 on target, 51% possession. So Troyes, don't be fooled by the fact that they haven't won yet. They're showing a good account for themselves. I don't think we're going to see Monaco often with only 50% possession. It's a team that likes to have the ball, that likes to be at 65-70% possession. 12 shots for Troyes, only 3, on target, 3 for Troyes. Traveling to Troyes this weekend, getting their first win after a gut-wrenching draw in Ukraine was the fate of Monaco. If you followed the Champions League playoff, Monaco had lost 1-0 at home and was winning 2-0 in Ukraine before Shakhtar scored once in regular time and once in extra time with 5 minutes left. which cost Monaco their spot in Champions League. Monaco, who will be playing the Europa League as well. 3 clubs in Europa League this season: Lyon, Monaco, and Marseille. Pretty solid lineup for France, and hopefully they can go as far as possible, get those UEFA points for France. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble. Go back to that game. Monaco looked actually tired and wasted a few opportunities. Ben Yedder up front still doesn't find his rhythm. Gelson Martin, a minute and a half, or maybe 3 minutes in, had a perfect opportunity 3 meters away from the goal line and placed it over the crossbar. Tchouaméni had probably the best opportunity before the goal. He channeled his inner Gaëtan Laborde. I don't know if you remember the goal that Laborde scored against Marseille for the first game of the season, that beautiful swerved ball in the top left corner. Tchouaméni did that from the other side on his right foot. Perfect ball, hit right at the angle. Unfortunately, hit the crossbar and didn't get in. But Monaco was showing that they could play football, and what we saw against Shakhtar was nice. They tried to do a little bit of the same. Like I said, they showed that they were tired, and Troyes was able to answer shyly at first. Mama Baldé is doing some good to Troyes on the right wing. Tousgar, who's finally staying at Troyes after I said he was going to Tenerife last week. Johan Tousgar decided to actually resign with Troyes. Tousgar was almost able to score as well, but Monaco would be the one scoring first at the 40th minute, 5 minutes before the break. A perfectly weighed pass by Tchouaméni in the run of Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder finds himself in front of Gauthier Gallon, but sees Diop on his side, just squares the ball, and Diop just can just push it into the empty net. It's good to see that the captain was selfless on that one. He took his time. Like I said, he missed a couple of opportunities this week against Shakhtar. He missed a couple again against Troyes. As long as he gets assist right, it's not as good as a goal, but it's the next best thing. The halftime couldn't come any faster for Monaco, who needed to take that rest. And just back from the locker room, Troyes pushed a little bit higher. The first shot was fired by a former Monaco man, Julian Biancone, who just arrived in Champaign to play with the City group backed team. Found himself into the box. A nice little shot, swerved, but hit the post. Nubel a bit lucky on that one. Unfortunately, not too long after, no luck for Monaco. A free kick shot by Dylan Chambost for Troyes found the header of Ruben Aguilar, who headed in his top right corner above Nubel. Nothing the goalkeeper could do on that one, and it's Ruben Aguilar's second on goal this week after the goal in Ukraine that costed not that costed the disqualification, but that contributed to Monaco not going through in Champions League. Monaco was happy to, answer as quick as possible. They seemed to be stunned at first, and Tousgar actually could have an opportunity to score that second goal for Troyes, but didn't. But then another stellar pass, this time by Fofana, the midfielder who plays next to Tchouaméni. He found Diop right behind the lines again, and Diop 1v1 against Gallon. Didn't leave the goalkeeper any chance and passed the ball, put the ball through him. Brace for the Monaco youngster, and we know how good Sofiane Diop is and is going to be. It's good to see him scoring goals. The rest of the game was, basically Monaco now dropping down a little bit, losing a little bit of confidence, playing in counter-attack. Getting a little bit lucky. Balde hit the crossbar for Troyes. Troyes definitely unlucky. Ripart having a chance, but Nubel saved that ball. Let's say that Monaco got the 3 points, and that's what matters, and that's their first win. And hopefully it's the launch of their season. It's a team that I think can challenge Paris Saint-Germain. I'm a bit surprised of the lack of the lack of offensive of the ability to score more. I guess what we saw last year between Ben Yedder and Volland was a plethora of goal. I think Ben Yedder finishes at 20 and Volland at 15. Volland now is injured. Ben Yedder hasn't found his confidence back. Once they get into the rhythm, they'll be a dangerous team. Troyes, don't be fooled by the fact that they only have 1 point after 4 games. Laurent Batles is making sure his team plays some good football. They've got a couple of good recruits. They might lack a bit of experience, and they just recruited Adil Rami, the former Lille and Marseille defender. I guess a little bit surprising for the Troyes fan, but they got now somebody with a wealth of experience, and he's a world champion. Joining Troyes and trying to bring that experience might help. We'll see the results after the international break. Troyes will be traveling to Metz, and Monaco, as we said, will be hosting Marseille. Next up, the surprising leader before Paris Saint-Germain played this weekend, Angers, who are now second, of course, behind Paris Saint-Germain. Angers, who keeps going with their dream start. Gérald Batchik, the coach, must be happy. 2-0 win against Rennes, Bouffal at the 57 minutes and Cho at the 88th minute. Bade for Rennes got red carded at the end of the first half at the 43rd minute. 53% position for Angers, 16 shots, 4 on target, 7 shots for Rennes, only 2 on target. Angers was and still is the good surprise of this season so far. The team coached by Gérald Batchik, another win with another win under the belt, and this time it was the Europa Conference League. I had to read that one. Europa Conference League bound Rennes, who suffered under the beautiful football played by les Angevins, Mohamed Halicho, Sofiane Bouffal. Offensively, it's pretty strong for Angers, and defensively, when you have a Paul Bernardoni, the goalkeeper, on this form, it's going to be hard to get some points at the Stade Raymond Coppa. Is it Raymond Coppa? I think it's Raymond Coppa. Anyway, the game started well for Angers, better in build-up play than Rennes, definitely. Rennes played in transition. Genesio happy to get his team defending. I think Genesio is still trying to find his groove in the midfield. Ndonzi left. Camavinga is now leaving to Real Madrid, is the breaking news. And they're not finding their foot yet. Offensively, what they have is pace. You got Doku on one side, you got Sulemana. Rennes thought they scored first with Aguerd, but his goal was ruled off for offside by the VAR. And Bernardoni had to do what it takes to stop Sulemana's run early on, but that was probably a little about it for that first half. For Rennes, Angers was first answering on set pieces, mainly Mangani and Bouffal tried to finding the target, not really worrying for Alfred Gomis. Of course, the sliding door moment in this game is the red card for Bade, the young defender who just arrived from Lens, the 43rd minute for a late tackle on Cho. Unfortunately for Rennes, it was always going to be hard. A second half with only 10 men when you're facing Angers, who's full of confidence, basically. After that round of observation in the second half, Angers finally scored, and unfortunately the goal came of a pretty terrible mistake by Alfred Gomis. Gomis and Aguerd decided to sort of pass the ball to each other in the 6-box yard with Bouffal and Cho actually pressing them. And Gomis controlled the ball a little bit too far. Cho was able to put foot on the ball, find Bouffal, and Bouffal just pushed it into the empty net. Pretty terrible for the defense, that kind of goal. Angers kept pushing. Rennes tried to come back down to 10 men. It's always hard. Unfortunately for them, Bernardoni decided to put on the show in front of Guirassy, in front of Aguerd in the last 10 minutes. Was able to make sure that his team was going to keep the 3 points. And with 2 minutes left, it was Mohamed Halicho, 17-year-old, who scored his first goal, the first goal of his professional career, a professional career that looks very promising. Pretty good run on the right, physically able to win the duel against Aguerd. It's a feat. Then find himself in front of Gomis. The first shot is deflected by the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, back on Cho, who's able to volley it a bit acrobatically to score the second goal for Angers. We're going to talk a lot about Mohamed Halicho this season. I can feel it. Best starts in top-tier football for Angers since 1972. It's a team that actually look like they can keep it that way. For Rennes, ups and downs. It's going to be hard to play every 3 days. Mind you, they can count on their Another new recruit, Gaëtan Laborde, is coming from Montpellier. They're losing Camavinga, but Camavinga hasn't played much this season. If they can find a solution in the midfield, the addition of Laborde, the addition of Sulemana can make a difference. Now that you have Laborde, who's able to basically head everything in, those crosses by Melling, by Traoré, might find the right target, and Laborde and Guirassy up front, I think, can do a lot of damage. So hopefully for Rennes, they make it happen. After the break, Rennes will be hosting Reims, and Angers will travel to Brest. Brest was traveling to Strasbourg, lost 3-1, which is the first win for Julien Stéphan, the former Rennes coach, at the head of Strasbourg. The goal scorer, Persic, at the 24th minute. Duverne scored an own goal at the 42nd, and Thomasson scored at the 84th minute for Strasbourg. Cardona scored at the 26th minute for Brest. Brest, who had main possession with 52%, so a pretty even game, and 11 shots and 5 on target for either team. So it was a leveled encounter. A weekend of first, of course, Strasbourg getting their first win under Julien Stéphan. The Alsacians had a plan against Brest, and that plan worked. They pressed high, they pressed tight, and they make sure that Brest was unable to build their usual football. Mind you, they didn't have Romain Fèvre, the young number 10 who was supposed to go to Milan AC, refused to play this weekend, which is a bit of a weird choice to make, and Der Zakarian, the coach, definitely wasn't happy about it. And now, a day after the game, we heard that he might not be going to Milan AC, so it was a bit of a, I guess, a bad choice for Romain Fèvre. It worked out for Strasbourg, that tactic. Matt Sells, of course, is very good in goals for Strasbourg, and he's showing it week in, week out. He definitely helped Strasbourg getting those 3 points. Ajorc up front was also very, very important, crucial in that win. He was the first one to start the fireworks at Lameno with a shot from long distance that was saved by Bizot beautifully, actually. And then he was involved in every attack, Ajorc, even involuntarily when the ball bounced back on him at the 24th minute, just to find Persic, who scored the first goal for Strasbourg. On the kickoff, straight away, Brest was able to answer. The kickoff was played 3-4 passes, the ball into the box, Cardona with a beautiful little control, little flick to eliminate the defender, and then the 1v1 with his Matt Sells that he won pretty easily. The rest of the half, unfortunately, was dominated by the home team again, and they got their reward at the end of a counter-attack. Gamero's pass for Ajorc was deflected by Duverne in his own goal, unfortunately, for the Brest defender, just like PSG last week, Brest doesn't play much into the first half, and then the second half start, and then they start waking up, and then we start seeing Mounier a little bit, and then we start seeing Honora a little bit. Mbok tried to score by a header, but unfortunately for them, either they couldn't find the target or Matt Sells was here to stop them. Strasbourg waited for their turn, and their turn came at the 84th minute. Ajorc again, Ajorc, he's French, led the counter-attack, find himself in front of Matt Sells, shot in front of Bizot, shot, Bizot deflected it on his own defender. The ball was about to get in. Thomasson makes sure to push it to get that third goal in. And here it was, the 3 points for Strasbourg at the Stade de la Méno. A couple of years ago, Strasbourg was never losing at Lameno, and we're even winning against Paris Saint-Germain on home. So hopefully the fans coming back means that stadium will become a fortress again. Brest, only 2 points. Worst start since 1987 in top-tier football for Brest. Not easy for Der Zakarian, but we'll see what he can do. He's done some great things in Montpellier. I don't see how he wouldn't do the same thing at Brest. The talent is here. Honora, Mounier, Fèvre, who's apparently staying now. I wouldn't be surprised if Brest can pick themselves up. After the break, Brest will be hosting Angers, and Strasbourg will travel to Lyon. A couple of 2-2 draws now that we're going to talk about. Lens and Lorient, the first one, the goal scorer close at the 24th minute, Fofana at the 70th. For Lens, Lorienté at the 27th and Monconduit at the 34th for Lorient. 19 shots for Lens, 9 on target, 14 shots for Lorient, 7 on target, and a 55% ball possessions for les Sangs et Or, Lens. Very entertaining game of football. The Stade Bollard was, of course, as loud as it gets. We know that the fans in north of France are some of the best we have in the country. Two teams that last year were the two promoted sides. So it's a duel of teams that were in Ligue 2 only a couple of years back. Both teams started in a high rhythm. Lens were the one dangerous first. The first free kick by Klose, as if he was, getting a bit of training, and then at the 24th minute, his free kick was just perfectly over the wall, right next to the post. Not much that Narji could do on that one. Lorient luckily didn't have time to think about it and was able to score very quickly. Abergel, the captain and midfielder, so Lorienté's run in behind the Lens defense, gave him the ball perfectly, and then Lorienté 1v1 with Leka was able to put it in to level. Less than 10 minutes later, Lorient decided to score again. What Mouffi couldn't do, because Mouffi got stopped by Jean-Louis Lec. Monconduit was able to do it. A strike from the edge of the box, a strike that didn't look like it was powerful enough, but that surprised the Lens goalkeeper and finished into the bottom left corner. Lens woke up by then and went back to attack, had a few good opportunity, a lot of the possession, but was basically mostly pushed away by a solid defense from the Lorient team without, two players that got red carded last week. Lorient was still pretty good defensively. The second half looked a lot like the first. Nardi, had to show off again. He had to make sure that he was here in front of Kakuta. And then on the other side, Leka was able to stop Abergel's attempt as well. Still 2-1 for Lorient. The equalizer came for Lens by their captain, Sekou Fofana. Is it the captain? I think it's the captain. The midfielder who scored a pure striker's goal, the goal of the weekend. You have to go and watch it. There's a bit of a scramble into the box, and the ball gets to Fofana. And Fofana, with a little flick, just lifted the ball with his right foot and then volley it with the left. Impressive, surprised the goalkeeper, put it through, and really, really a great strike. We know how good Fofana is. We didn't maybe expect him to bring goals for Lens. Anyway, Lens thought they could get the 3 points. Banza had a good shot at the end, but the game stayed what it was. Undefeated so far, les Sangs et Or. Best season start since 2004. Brest on the other side, not happy. I think there's Zakarian with his team right now, but it's a young team. They're working through it, and we'll see. We'll see what they do after the first international break. Brest will be hosting Angers, and Lens will be traveling to Petkovic's Bordeaux. The next game, the next 2-2 of the weekend was Clermont against Metz. The goal scorer Niakite for Clermont scored an own goal. So Niakite, the Metz defender, scored an own goal, which was the goal for Clermont. And Rachani scored again for Clermont. On the other side, Nian scored on penalty at the 10th minute. And Desmas, the goalkeeper from Clermont, scored an own goal at the 29th minute. The goals from Clermont came at the 35th and the 58th. 16 shots for Clermont, 4 on target. 12 shots for Metz, 4 on target as well. 61% possession for the promoted squad, who again is showing that you can come from Ligue 2 and yet make a good impression as soon as you arrive in Ligue 1. The team coached by Gastien developed positive football, dominated again, and it's good to see. We know that Metz is actually a good team, and Clermont able to play well regardless of who's coming in front of them is going to make this league even more interesting. Unfortunately for them, though, despite the domination, they did concede twice in the first half hour. The first one on a penalty, a clumsy tackle offered Nian his chance from the spot kick, and Nian is pretty good in front of goal, so no chance. The second goal was a little bit laughable at the 29th minute, a cross that seemed not to be very dangerous. going straight toward Desmas, and the goalkeeper sort of tried to volley it above the crossbar, but volleyed it under the crossbar, and that was 2-0 for Metz. I'm sure the goalkeeper must still have nightmare of that one. Luckily for him, his team was here to pick it back up, and then Bayo, who already had found the target in the first minute, helped his team answering with Zeladaka and Dosu, both close to score in between those two away goals. They were lucky when they did find the net, though, because it was a Metz defender that scored, a cross by Rashani, a header by Bayo on the post that bounced it back on Yakite, and then ended up in the back of the net. For that first goal by Clermont. They keep pushing. Berthomier almost equalized a minute later, but unfortunately missed the target by an inch. And at halftime, Clermont was down 1 goal. Now Clermont is the team that always comes back, and in the second half, after Nsimba missed his chance, Rashani leveled another header by Bayo that found the Kosovan in the middle of the box. His third goal in 2 weeks, Rashani, which is a good addition to the squad for Clermont. And just last week in Lyon, you can see Clermont coming back down after being down by 2 goals. A lot of mental strength in that Gastien squad. Berthomier and Bayo actually were able to give all 3 points to their team, but the defense coached by Antonetti did what it took to keep that 1 point from an away game. 8 points in 4 games for Clermont, the best start for a new Ligue team since Guingamp in 1995. It's something to note. They will be traveling to Paris after the international break, talking about a test. Metz, in the other hand, will play the other promoted team, 3, at home at Saint-Symphorien. All right, 2 games left. The first one, Lille against Montpellier, and the champs are here, right? You wish they were here before, but they finally show up at the 4th game. The first win of the season for Gourvenec, 2-1. The goal scorer, Yazici, at the 46th minute, and Jonathan David at the 57th. Yazici, scored into the injury time of the first half. And on the other side, Laborde scored his last goal with Montpellier in injury time as well, but 3 minutes after Yazici, 45 plus 4. And that was the only goal, for Montpellier. Sambia took a red card for Montpellier at the 73rd minute. 54% possession for Lille, 15 shots, 4 on target. For Montpellier, 6 shots and 3 on target. The reigning champions finally get their first win, as I said, led by an inspired Angel Gomez, the former under-23 Manchester United player who did okay in Boavista last season. Is showing what he's capable of with Lille. No Ikone, no Bamba really showing off, and Angel Gomez happy to pick up the pieces. They wasted a few opportunities, Les Dogs. They could have scored definitely earlier. Yilmaz, Yazici, David really thought that they would have scored earlier, but David blazed the ball over the crossbar when he was 8 meters away from the goal line. Luckily, they were able to score just before halftime. Yazici, after a great cross by Cheka, smartly. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember the goal and I can't. Cross by Yazici, a head by Fonte, and cross by Cheka, head by Fonte, and Yazici volleyed it in. For the first goal in injury time. Unfortunately for Lille, Montpellier knew that the injury time wasn't over, and Laborde was able to score. Now that he's without Angie Delors, who's gone to Nice, and before he's joining Rennes himself. Laborde was able to combine with Mavididi, the replacement, and pushed in a square ball a split second before Gerbic could get to the ball. So a great striker's goal for Laborde, who will make Montpellier happy right now, but will mainly make Rennes happy that they're getting a very good striker. Anyway, besides that, the second half started and Lille saw a little bit more of the ball, so a little bit more attacking intentions, I guess, played a little bit of a better football than what we've seen since the beginning of the season. The reward didn't take too long to come. A free kick played quickly by Yazici for David at the edge of the box, and then the Canadian forwards dribbled his way into the box and find himself in front of Berto and wrong-footed him from short range. Despite late attempts from Montpellier, the score didn't change. Of course, taking a red card at the 73rd minute didn't help the club coached by Dalolio. And Lille gets their first win of the season. The monkeys off the back for Lille is still not perfect football-wise. It looks like it's only a matter of time, though. They're keeping the same team. They're not really losing any player. Of course, there's chats that Renato Sanchez might leave. But besides that, there's not a lot of change in that squad. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them finally getting to where we want them to come. For Dalolio and for Montpellier, it's a bit worrying. A good start of the season, and they have talent, but they've lost their two strikers now. Delors and Laborde are going. So now up front, they have Mavididi, they have Skuletic, they have the young Wahi. Where it is, they might recruit Germain, but I don't know. It's a bit worrying for Dalolio. He's a great coach. So let's see what he does with the club from La Payade. After the break, Montpellier will be hosting Saint-Etienne, and Lille will travel to Lorient. And the last game of the week was Paris Saint-Germain traveling to Reims, Champagne. And Champagne was out because Messi played his first minutes for the club of the capital. The team scored 2-0, and Mbappé was the one offering that win to his what could have been his now former club, but actually I think he's staying in Paris. Anyway, Mbappé with 2 goals at the 15th and the 63rd minute. 11 shots for Reims, 4 on target, 12 shots for Paris, only 3 on target and 2 goals. 68% possession for the club of the capital. As I said, Messi has officially played a game with his new club jersey. After playing all his professional career in Barcelona, I don't think anybody would believe that he was going to wear another jersey in one of the top 5, let's say top 6 league now, because Portugal seems to have taken over France. But La Pulga is now a PSG player. You can believe it. And he ran on the Stade d'Olonne grass for 25 minutes on Sunday night, which, that game itself was just another typical early season game for Paris Saint-Germain. Not great, but still winning, which is what they need to do. Paris Saint-Germain, if they want to get to where we want them, we know they want to go. They don't shine, they score. Mbappé scores 3 goals in the beginning of the season for the wonder kid who might be joining Real Madrid, if not today, at least next year, apparently, on a free, which would be, some people would call that a failure by Leonardo and Al Kaifi. I think it's the natural, a natural turn of event. Mbappé has been a big fan of Real Madrid for a while. He wanted to go there. Real Madrid was almost ready to pay 160 million for the last year of contract of Mbappé. Paris refused. Real Madrid doesn't offer more. Mbappé might leave on a free next season, but the season is still long. Who knows what's going to happen? Anyway, back to the game. Reims obviously knew what to expect. Play into a 3-5-2 that went from a 5-3-2 to a 4-3 to a 3-4-3. Excuse me. Depending on the momentum. Surprisingly, Kebal and Touré were actually the first one to show what they could do, forcing Navas to a couple of saves. But Paris Saint-Germain never needs more than one opportunity. And when Di Maria's cross found Mbappé in the middle of the box, there was only one issue, the first goal for the French international striker. Paris Saint-Germain not really able to endanger Reykjavik besides that in the first half. Verratti and Wijnaldum played, Neymar and Di Maria played, but we didn't see a side of Paris Saint-Germain that I think we'll see in the weeks or in the months to come. When you have Neymar, Mbappé, Di Maria, Verratti, Wijnaldum, and Gay, you think they're going to just overwhelm the other team. It didn't happen this weekend. It's still early days. They're still getting ready for what matters in their season, as we keep saying. The second half, really, of the season is where Paris Saint-Germain wants to shine. They're getting the win, and it's what matters, right? In that second half, Reims tried to get back into the game. They had a solid first 5 minutes. They thought they scored, but the goal was denied The goal from Munetsi was denied for an offside by VAR. Before the half, actually, Kasama had a shot from the outside of the box that hit the post. That could have been a beautiful goal. But anyway, after that goal refused for Reims, the stadium started clapping and being loud, and you're wondering what it was. It was Messi starting to get a little bit faster in his warm-up. I think most of the fans looked at what Messi was doing running and missed the actual goal by Mbappe, who made sure the game was over before Messi came in. A perfect square ball by Hakimi at the far post, and Mbappe side tackled the ball in for the 2-0. Messi could come on the pitch and not have to do anything because the game was won. Messi replaced Neymar. Only 25 minutes, no need to do anything because the game is already won. Yet you can see the impact that the Argentine is going to have on Paris Saint-Germain. He's probably the best player in the world. He plays fast, he plays one touch, he sees everything. His moves are good. He rarely loses the ball. When he gets a tackle, he doesn't roll on the floor and cry the way Neymar might be doing it. When he's going to be in form, he's just going to be amazing to watch. Unfortunately for the Marseille fan that I am, so it's the French shirt today. But it's great to see Messi playing in Ligue. It might mean that Paris Saint-Germain will get a fantastic season and a season to remember. The rest of the year will tell us. But Messi is definitely a generational talent, no doubt about that. The rest of the game, nothing much happened. Paris Saint-Germain gets 4 wins in 4 games. That's what matters. They will host Clermont, who hasn't lost yet after the break. Paris Saint-Germain got a clean sheet, their first clean sheet of the season, which is good for them defensively. Kerrer did okay. Kimpembe did all right. Diallo, the left back, might be a bit of the issue. Hakimi is as good as we said since the beginning of the season. Reims, in the meantime, after the break, will be traveling to Rennes. Reims, who's one of those teams that we might worry about. I mean, Oscar Garcia, I like what he's doing for Reims, but it's not always working. We are going to have to see in the long run if they can stay where they are. Like I said at the beginning on my preseason podcast, it's one of those teams that I am genuinely worried about. Anyway, a quick chat about the transfer, a very, very quick chat. The few things that have happened overnight or the past few days that we know, I guess, matter in the transfer world. Mbappe is staying in Paris Saint-Germain, is the latest. Camavinga is moving to Real Madrid. Laborde, like I said, is going to Rennes. Kalimundo, the young striker from Paris Saint-Germain, is going to Lens. Depreville, who was without a contract after he was done in Bordeaux, is joining Metz. Sopi, the Rennes defender, is going to the Udinese. Touré is going to Genoa. Jens is coming to Lorient. Niamzi is going from Rennes to Strasbourg. Jebels, the striker from Monaco, the young striker who came from Lyon not too long ago, apparently would be going to Nantes. Wagner is going to go from Metz to Sion. Fèvre, like I said, is staying in Brest. There's word that Chalet might stay in Marseille after all this chat of him maybe going to England. And I think Marseille might recruit somebody else, but I feel like it was depending on Chalet actually leaving. So if he doesn't leave, Marseille might not record any other recruits. Who knows? Besides that, we touched quickly on it, but the biggest transfer of the week was Xherdan Shaqiri joining Lyon. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring to this team. We kept saying that they miss a winger who's powerful and experienced, and now they have him. So good for Lyon, good for Peter Bosz, and hopefully Lyon will be competing for the title, which is what we expect them to do. That's the end of this podcast. Thank you again for following Farmers Corners FC. Thank you to anybody who's enjoying the podcast and who's following. Thank you to Sam, the scout, for the Samoa in the Australian territory, and the scout for Peterborough and Odense as well. We had a quick chat on Twitter this week, and you recommend my podcast. I always appreciate it. If you're wondering what those shirts are behind me, it's Canberra. It's Belconnen here, which is I'm going to point properly, which is a small club in Canberra, and that's the shirt of Michel Heyman, the striker of Canberra United, the W League team. Michel Heyman, who is the leading goal scorer in the history of the W League, the number 23, which I had the honor to meet. Farmers Corners FC, it's over for this week. I don't know if I'll do an episode about the international break, maybe just one to talk about what France is doing. After all, it's the lockdown in Australia here. Looking forward to talking to all of you again. Bye-bye. Thank you. Ciao.